Hello, my friends, and welcome back to Markers and Monsters. As always, I'm your host, Colin, and today we're drawing Frankenstein from 1931. Do y'all like the Universal Monsters? I know I sure do. I had a love of them instilled upon me at a young age. My dad recorded them off of TV in the 80s on VHS. I remember being exposed to them pretty young, like before I went to school. So I must have been, 4 years old, even less than that. I've told this story before, I'm sure, but I remember just throwing a fit when my Aunt Sandy came to watch us, and I wanted to watch the Universal Monsters, and she was like, "No, that's your dad's tape." And she actually had to wake him up. He worked second shift and was asleep at the time, because I just wanted to watch these movies so bad that she woke him up so that she could determine if it was okay if I took his cassette tape to her house. Good times. I still have that tape in a pile over there. It's very fun to pull out every now and again and watch like the commercials and stuff from the 80s. Kind of see these movies as most people saw them, at least in our generations, which are on TV. 1931 is a long time ago, gang, so not a lot of people alive that I personally know that saw Frankenstein in the theaters. Wonder what kind of experience that would have been. Probably pretty impressive with that grotesque Jack Pierce makeup, the gothic themes, just the transgressive nature of the whole thing. I know this film was censored for a while when Dr. Frankenstein says he knows what it means to be God. To think that such a line like that would be censored today is wild to think of, but there you go. As you can see, I'm just kind of penciling in Frankenstein here. I'm trying to get a nice look for the iconic Boris Karloff monster. As I said before, it's Jack Pierce did the makeup on this. He did an excellent job weighing down Karloff's eyes with mortician's wax to give it this like glazed over corpse like effect. Karloff, had an injury that required a prosthetic in his mouth. He took it out so his cheek was sunken in. Just incredible. Mary Shelley wrote Frankenstein in the early part of the 1800s while she and her husband and some others were vacationing in Lake Geneva, Switzerland, not Wisconsin. They had a contest of who could write the scariest story. Well, Mary Shelley wrote Frankenstein, or the modern Prometheus there. It has stood the test of time, man. Let me tell you, it's been over 200 years, and we still love Frankenstein as a culture. The 1931 film, I can't say is a great adaptation of the book. Character names are changed, a whole bunch of details. The monster, for one, never becomes really intelligent, never decides to rebel against his own creator for making him, and all the other themes that are in the novel just kind of aren't in the movie. And you know what? That's okay. There's been so many adaptations of Frankenstein. I like when, sometimes they're their own thing. And boy, this movie became its own thing. It is the template for when you say the word Frankenstein, immediately what 99% of the populace gets to. It's not the first time Frankenstein was filmed. That honor actually goes to, I believe, the Edison film from 1914. I'm just spitballing that. I don't have numbers in front of me, gang. So pardon me if I'm incorrect there. Throw it in the comments if you know the date off the top of your head without having looked it up first. Because as soon as I'm done recording this audio narration, I'm going to go look it up myself. But if you knew it, let me know. You get a no prize. Love it. I'm starting in here with the background. I want to get that set in stone before I start moving on to Frankenstein himself. Real quick, to settle a debate, I'm going to refer to the monster as Frankenstein and the guy that made him as Frankenstein. I know this is a big thing on the internet. Ooh, Frankenstein's monster is what you really... Yeah, I don't care. I don't know. Yeah, you're probably correct. What I'm drawing is the monster, not Frankenstein. But I don't know, man. It's been almost 100 years since this movie's come out. 200 years for the book. We can just call this guy Frankenstein, and that's okay. And we can also call the doctor that made him Frankenstein, and that's okay. And we can all just chill and have fun and enjoy our movies, and it's great. So that's where I stand on that debate. Took me a while to find some good, clean images of the tower from the movie. I wanted to get that in there just kind of right. Kind of a fun thing when you think about the Universal monsters and like gothic-y, old classic horror. You think, castles and stuff like that. Yeah, for Dracula and some of the other Frankenstein movies, sure. But in the original 31, it was this weird, like almost German expressionism looking tower that they created the monster in. And I think that's super cool and very realistic's not the word I'm going for, but it's kind of interesting that there isn't some grand castle or any kind of like big spooky manor house or anything. It's just this weird crumbling old tower located, somewhere out on the in the wilds, kind of hard to get to. I find that to be a little more, I don't know, if I was a mad scientist, I would kind of maybe choose a place a little more inconspicuous than like some big old castle or whatever. I don't know. I dig it. Great design work. There's all kind of weird angles inside of there during the times you're in the lab, which is in this tower, just weird shots. The way rooms line up, the way the stairs go, just incredibly bizarre. I love that. I think the Universal monsters are, I don't know, I think they're almost like a rite of passage to some degree for a lot of horror fans. I know that 100 years later, I get it. These movies are slower paced. The acting you can't say is like Oscar worthy or anything like that. The themes and whatnot are a little bit antiquated compared to something that's out there today, like, I don't know, like Weapons or something. But you know what? There's just something about it. You can't deny Universal monsters are fantastic. These guys pop up all the time in our culture, in advertising, in, random background shots or something. Somebody wants to convey that they're monsters. They're going to draw Frankenstein with bolts in his neck and a big flat top, and Count Dracula with a cape and a vest and stuff. It's iconic, and I love that. I love that about it. I don't know if these would be good movies to show to kids, like I said, with the slower pace. I almost feel like you should at some point. If you have a young one in your life that's into horror, then, maybe show them a Universal monster or something. I'd say Creature from the Black Lagoon might be the quicker paced, easier to get into movie for young people. But I don't know, everybody should see Frankenstein at least once, I think. I don't know. Maybe I'm just crazy. I'll stop ruminating. Let's go on to the drawing. You see him adding in some hair here, just kind of adding in shadows and building up layers. I chose to do this in warm tones as opposed to cool. I feel like every time that I watched Frankenstein, like when I was a kid on TV or on a VHS or something, the print quality was pretty bad and the film had like a warmer tone to it than a cooler tone. A cool tone's same kind of gray, but it's going to be way more of like a silvery blue sort of a thing. I don't know, Frankenstein, something about it warm, watching this on a summer's day, a rainy afternoon, right? I don't know. There's just something about it that worked for me. I chose to go completely monochrome, and what I'm doing now is adding in finer details with darker shades of gray, like those little bricks there. I'm kind of keeping the rocks almost scribbly, if that makes sense. I don't know. Just kind of adding them in. They don't mean a whole lot. I just need to fill the space with some kind of rocky thing there, and it doesn't need to be super detailed. We're going to go over it now with the pen, the black, and that's going to make all these little details jump out just so much more. Keeping that strange, thick forehead, little scar there, a couple lines and things here and there just to add in little bits of detail. I'll go in with like a brush pen and do the hair really good. Keep that kind of thick and whatnot. But yeah, for the most part, this thing is coming together nicely. I'd love to know in the comments, do y'all have favorite Universal monsters or even classic horror stuff? It can be some of the monsters. It could be like, I I don't know, something like Cat People, which is, like a old RKO Val Lewton flick. Cool stuff like that, but just like that classic horror. I don't know. Love that kind of stuff. It doesn't seem to be quite Halloween for me without it. For my money, my personal favorite is The Creature from the Black Lagoon, but boy, I love all these guys. And Frankenstein, man, what an icon. Here's the drawing. Sign it up. Let's take a look. Let's go into a scan, take a look a little bit closer and see what we've got going on here. There we go. Look pretty good once it's all scanned up. I do minimal color adjustments just to make it pop on the computer. But in real life, I think this turned out great. I usually frame these up, sell them at conventions. So if you ever see me at an upcoming con, I'm selling stuff. Or hey, if you ever just want to own a piece of art, shoot me an email or something like that. Let me know. Well, hey guys, this was a lot of fun. Thank you for watching. Happy Halloween 2025. I got some more treats and tricks in store for you. But until the next one, I'm Colin. This was Markers and Monsters. Thanks for watching, and go watch some Universal Horror. Goodbye.